Welcome to the Story Learning Podcast, regular doses of language learning tips and motivation to help you become fluent in any language. With me, Olly Richards. For language programs, books, free resources, and much more, visit StoryLearning.com.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm very, very happy to have you here as always. I am approaching a landmark on YouTube, which is 10,000 subscribers. Now, why does that matter? Isn't it just a vanity metric? Well, kind of. But something very cool happens at 10,000 subscribers, which is that YouTube, now not many people know this, but YouTube actually have a series of professional, like state-of-the-art video film studios around the world in places like London and New York. And when you, as a YouTube person, get 10,000 subscribers, you can then go in and use their studios for free with like state-of-the-art equipment, sound and video engineers, green screens and all this amazing stuff so that you can actually make even more awesome YouTube videos, which is an amazing thing. It's totally free as well. So as soon as I reach this landmark, I'm going to be able to really start making some very cool things on YouTube. So I was thinking that I might ask you for a bit of help, because every little helps, as I say. So if you use YouTube, if you like YouTube, please head over and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you will help me get to that goal a little bit quicker. You can simply go to YouTube and search for Olly Richards, or you can go to youtube.com/IWTYAL, which stands for I Will Teach You a Language, and you will find the channel there. That would be super cool. 2 reasons to do that. First reason is I would be very grateful and you'd be helping me out. Second reason is I already make loads and loads of YouTube videos, and if you haven't seen them already, you might like them. They might help you. So please take a second to do that. I'd be very, very grateful indeed. Now today I'd like to answer an email question from Kento. And Kento asks the following. He asks, what I'm struggling with most would be speaking, but to be honest, I just need more opportunities to speak. What I really wanted to know was how I could practice speaking by myself, but actually it was kind of answered in one of the latest episodes, talking to yourself or shadowing. He goes on, and right now what I want to know most is how I can make the most of iTalki. I think you posted something on Facebook related to this topic, but I would like your personal advice. Okay, so basically Kento's question is, he's using iTalki, he's using it to practice speaking French. How can he make the most of it? Excellent question, something that lots of people ask, because I have myself found that and it's not just iTalki, it's with any kind of teacher really. Unless you have a very good teacher, you run the risk of sort of settling into a bit of a pattern, and you do the same kind of things every lesson, and your lessons run the risk of becoming a little bit of a chat. Now, that can serve you very well at a certain point. If you haven't spoken your target language much, or if you're just getting started with speaking, then that kind of let's just have a chat model can work extremely well, and maybe for a period of sort of 4 to 6 months or something, really help you build up your confidence, and it can be one of the most powerful things that you do. Now, what happens is eventually you get to a point where you're kind of at a intermediate-ish level, and those conversations and those sessions stop being so effective because you've kind of got used to daily conversation, chatting about normal things, and there's nothing that's pushing you anymore. You know all of the most of the kind of high frequency vocabulary, most of the sort of fundamental stuff that you need, and that's when you can start to stagnate and progress stops. So what I thought I would do is give you a few tips here for ways to shake things up and break out of your language speaking sessions if they're in a bit of a rut. Because the thing to remember as well is that you're dealing with people, and I mention this fairly frequently. It doesn't matter whether you're using iTalki or another platform, or a local teacher who you meet in your local cafe twice a week. People are people. You get good people and bad people, good teachers and bad teachers, unhelpful people and helpful people. At the end of the day, you've got to find the person who works best for you. But the first thing to do before we even get to that is to get a couple of things straight, which is, what do you want? What are you looking for with your language? Are you just looking for opportunities to speak? Like you said, Kento, is it simply just practice that you're looking for? Or is it something else? And it pays to think about this for a bit. Do you actually want a professional teacher who's going to be able to fix your language errors efficiently and accurately? Do you have a specific goal that you want to pass? Maybe a proficiency exam? It's worth taking the time to think about whether you, in fact, have a specific goal, because you might actually not have one, but could do with having one, or maybe you kind of do have one, but you haven't articulated it. So take a second, because the person that you end up hiring to help you with this is going to make a difference. If you are kind of comfortable speaking, but you just got too many mistakes, then you're going to be better off hiring a professional teacher who's going to be able to help you with that very directly. I have always taken the approach with my languages of speak very early on, build up my confidence that way from speaking, and then use self-study to fix any mistakes that I have and continue learning. But my experience recently in Thailand has really made me start to doubt that, actually, because for those of you who followed my journey to learn Thai in 2 weeks, I had a teacher from the start, and we had 2 hours of lessons right from the beginning, and it was extremely effective. Like my teacher was excellent, but I was astounded at how much I was able to learn over the course of those 2 weeks. And as it happens, I came back to the UK and I took an iTalki lesson with a community tutor, and we spent an hour chatting in Thai, and it was very, very fun. But I got to the end of it and I realised, you know what? I don't want this now. This is not what I want right now. I want to keep learning in a targeted way, in exactly the way I was learning with my teacher back in Thailand. And so actually I called up my teacher in Thailand and I said, hey, could we continue lessons over Skype? Because it was working so well that I wanted to continue that method of learning. So I have made the decision, and this is not a value judgment, this is not saying one teacher's better than the other or whatever. This is just saying that right now the way that I want to learn is through actual focused study with a teacher. I'm really enjoying this mode of study right now. So, and I would never have discovered that if I hadn't taken the time to actually experiment with my methodology and say, okay, let's try taking language lessons with a teacher for a while and see what happens. So it's different, and obviously the amount of money you spend is also affected here. A professional teacher is more expensive, and someone who simply helps you with your speaking is going to be more affordable. They're going to achieve different things. So, basically what I'm trying to say here is there are a lot of considerations, and it's not as simple as simply hiring a teacher and having lessons. I mean, it would be nice if it was that simple, but it's not. You're listening to this podcast because you are an independent learner. You are someone that wants to become a better, more efficient learner, someone who's capable of learning one language or more languages. And these are the kind of things that we need to think about, is how can we become efficient, effective learners, and knowing what we want and finding the appropriate people to help us get those things is the name of the game, really. So let's go back to the original question here from Kento. And Kento, I'm going to assume that what you really want is just simply more practice speaking French, and that you're looking for ways of becoming more efficient and, in your own words, making the most out of iTalki and your session. So here are a few tips for you. First of all, I would use different teachers to get some variety. When you speak with the same teacher all the time, you fall into patterns and you get comfortable. So have lessons with different teachers. If you are feeling that the kind of approach of simply speaking has stopped being so effective, which I suspect might be behind your question here, then I would snap right out of the pattern of simply meeting and chatting during your sessions, and I would speak with your teacher and suggest some specific things to do. And here are some of the things that have worked really well for me recently. You could ask your teacher to choose a photo or a picture to bring that to the lesson and have you describe that. This was extremely effective when I did it in Cantonese recently, and because it forces you to be very specific. You can't paraphrase stuff. If you want to say the vase is on the chest of drawers, you have to say exactly that. So get your teacher to bring in a photo and help you describe it. You can prepare something specific, like a little monologue or a diary entry or something that you write in advance, and then you have your teacher correct. You could do something like little grammar drills, which is very, very useful. So one thing I like to do is I like to ask my teacher to give me phrases in English, and then I have to translate them into the target language. I did this in Thai the other day. So my teacher would say, why did you go to Thailand? And then I would say in Thai, Olly ทำไมไปเมืองไทยไหม? I think that's right. And then she would say, where did you go in Thailand? And I would say that in Thai. So you're practicing taking sentences and producing them in the target language, and your teacher is simply helping you drill those things. You could do things like summarizing stories. So your teacher could tell you a little story or an anecdote, and then you would summarize that back to her. You can have do some kind of creative problem solving. So your teacher can say something like, imagine that you are stuck in the office and you don't have a key and you need to get out of the office. Everybody's gone home. What do you do? And then you have to finish, you have to hypothesize and sort of finish the situation. So what we're doing with all of these things is we are moving away from simply speaking. And we're doing something that is more structured, that's going to put your language skills on the spot a little bit and test yourself. And if you start to do that, you're going to find very quickly that your sessions on iTalki become more productive and, at the very least, kind of highlight some areas of weakness that you can work on more. All right, so I hope that was helpful. If you would like to ask me a question, please go to iwillteachyoualanguage.com/ask to do that. If you've been enjoying the podcast, I would really appreciate a review on iTunes. It helps other people find the show and know that it's worth listening to. If you'd like to do that, you can go to iwillteachyoualanguage.com/review, and it will take you to a place where you can do that. Finally, I like to leave you at the end of every show with not with a topic. No, you've got the topic, with a resource on the topic of the show. And I'd like you to go and read a blog post which is about 5 study hacks that are working for me right now. And this is a post that I wrote with 5 ways of studying that are extremely effective for me, or at least they were at the time of writing, and they really push you. They get you out of your comfort zone. And if you're looking for ways to make the most out of your iTalki lessons, or the time with your teacher, or just with your own self-study, these will help you push through that. To read that article, well worth it, please go to iwillteachyoualanguage.com/episode 138. Those are the show notes, and I'll put a link to it right there. I hope this was useful today, and I'll see you back in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. And here at Story Learning, everything that I do is powered by stories, whether that's writing books, teaching lessons, crafting courses. My mission is to help everyone succeed at learning a new language through the power of story. And we now have comprehensive language courses in over 15 languages, from Spanish to French, Korean to Japanese, and across all levels from beginner to mastery. And you can take a 7-day free trial of any of these programs by visiting storylearning.com/courses. I've poured my heart and soul into creating these courses over the last 10 or so years, and we've helped tens of thousands of new students achieve their dreams of learning a new language, all through the power of story. So go ahead and take a free trial. There's no commitment. You can try out our method for free, see if this can also be the breakthrough for you that it's been for so many other people. storylearning.com/courses.